The room fell silent in the most expensive hall money could buy, not because someone shouted, but because a single father dared to speak when everyone expected him to stay invisible. One more word, they had warned him. One more word and security would drag him out. Yet there he stood, worn jacket, tired eyes, holding his little daughter's hand, while across the marble floor the billionaire's fiancée froze in place, her fingers trembling around a $500 million check that suddenly felt heavier than gold. Before the story goes any further, pause for a second. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet strength of ordinary people, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel. Your support keeps stories like this alive. He had not planned to be there. Life had taught him not to plan too much anymore. Plans were for people with safety nets, with partners, with money in savings accounts. He had lost his wife 3 years earlier to an illness that arrived fast and left nothing but hospital bills and silence. From that day on, every morning began before sunrise and ended long after his daughter fell asleep clutching his sleeve, afraid that if she let go, the world might take him too. He worked 2 jobs, cleaned offices at night, stocked shelves at dawn, and still smiled for her because she deserved a father who looked unbroken, even if he felt cracked all the way through. The invitation had come by mistake, or maybe by fate. A charity gala, white envelopes, crystal chandeliers, the kind of place where names carried weight and faces were always confident. His daughter's school had submitted a handwritten letter he never knew about, describing a father who never missed a pickup, who skipped meals so his child could eat fruit, who read bedtime stories with a flashlight when the electricity was cut. The letter ended up in the hands of a foundation tied to a billionaire known for grand gestures and even grander publicity. A seat was offered, one night, a promise of possible help. He almost did not go. Pride is a strange thing when you are poor. It tells you to hide, to endure quietly. But his daughter begged, excited to wear the simple dress borrowed from a neighbor. So he ironed his only decent shirt and walked into a world that smelled like perfume, power. Every step reminded him he did not belong. Eyes glanced, then slid away. People noticed him only as an odd detail, like a scratch on a luxury car. The night built toward its climax, the moment everyone waited for. Cameras flashed as the billionaire's fiancée stepped forward, radiant, confident, wrapped in silk and certainty. The check was raised, $500 million pledged to a foundation bearing her name. Applause thundered. It was generosity on a scale so large it felt unreal, like a number without meaning. People smiled because smiling was expected. The single father clapped too, softly, because gratitude came naturally to him. Then something shifted. The foundation's mission was announced. Polished words about helping families in need, about compassion and opportunity. And in that polished speech, he heard something wrong. Not evil, not cruel, just empty. A program designed to look kind, not to be kind. Temporary help, strict conditions. People filtered out if they were too broken, too complicated. He thought of nights he had stood in food bank lines only to be turned away because he earned a few dollars too much. He thought of his daughter's fear of doctors because hospitals meant loss. His chest tightened. He had promised himself he would stay quiet, but silence had cost him too much already. When the host invited a few beneficiaries to stand for recognition, his daughter squeezed his hand. She looked up at him with the kind of trust that makes fear feel smaller. He stood. At first no one noticed. Then the warning came, sharp and hushed. "Sit down. This is not your moment. One more word." The threat was not loud, but it was clear. He felt every eye turn, some annoyed, some curious. His heart hammered, but his voice, when it came, was steady, shaped by years of explaining pain gently so it would not scare a child. He spoke about gratitude, about how help matters. He spoke about how real families do not fit neat criteria, how kindness should not be a performance. He did not accuse. He did not beg. He simply told the truth of his life, of loving a child while drowning in responsibility, of needing dignity more than spectacle. Each sentence felt like stepping closer to a cliff, but he did not stop. The fiancée's smile faltered, the check lowered slightly. Something unfamiliar crossed her face, something like recognition. She had grown up surrounded by wealth, by solutions that arrived instantly. She had never waited on hold with a sick child in her arms, never counted coins at midnight. The single father was not supposed to exist in her world, yet there he was, real and unpolished, reminding her that charity without listening could still hurt. Security hesitated. The room was too quiet now. Cameras adjusted. The billionaire himself watched, expression unreadable. The father finished not with anger but with hope, saying that if help was truly meant for families, then families should be seen, not managed. Time stretched. Then, slowly, the fiancée turned. The check trembled once more, not from fear of scandal but from the weight of understanding. She did something no one expected. She stopped the proceedings. The applause did not return. Instead, a deeper silence settled, the kind that means something has changed. The foundation's pledge was revised that night. Conditions loosened. Voices were added. Real families invited to the table not as props but as partners. It was not a miracle. Money did not erase struggle overnight. But for the single father, something shifted too. He was offered support without humiliation, work with stability, a community that did not see him as a risk to manage but a man to respect. He went home that night holding his daughter's hand, the city lights softer somehow. He did not feel like a hero. He felt tired, relieved, human. His daughter slept on his shoulder, safe in the rhythm of his breathing. He knew life would still be hard, bills would still come, grief would still visit. But he also knew that speaking, even once, had mattered. Stories like this are not about billionaires or checks. They are about moments when courage outweighs fear, when one more word changes the shape of a room. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment now to like the video, share it with someone who believes in compassion, and subscribe to the channel. Your engagement tells us these stories matter. And before this story ends, leave a comment below with just one word that this story made you feel. Hope, strength, kindness, whatever came to your heart. Because somewhere tonight, a single parent is choosing whether to stay silent or speak, and your support might remind them that their voice is worth hearing.